When, one of his students suggested, it's when it's light enough to tell a dog from a sheep. No, said the rabbi. It is at that moment when we can recognize in the face of any human being our brother or sister. Until we can do that, it's still night. Although it's dark outside this evening, it is daylight within, because we recognize in one another our sisters and brothers. Like you, I pray that the daylight that dawns here and in countless gatherings like this across the world, the daylight that dawns will shatter the darkness that through ignorance and prejudice, through fear, hurt and hatred, prevents human beings recognizing in other human beings their brothers and sisters. Through our prayers this evening, through the lives we live, may night end and daylight come. May hatred be driven back, and may our world shine with the light of peace. Thank you.
Is it working now? Can you hear me? Okay. Well, Lord Provost, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real honor and pleasure to be with you this evening. Ian Stewart, Director of Edinburgh Interfaith Association, and I met by chance at a gala dinner in London earlier this year. I had been thinking of holding a United for Peace service in Scotland for some time and was looking for a suitable partner. Now, we were both runners-up for these awards, but we won today, and this is a result of that wonderful dinner and that wonderful embrace, Ian, that you immediately embraced this idea and ran with it. And today is a testament, really, to your energy, dedication and commitment to building relationships between all our communities and for bringing this event to fruition. So thank you, Ian. This event has been in the planning process well before the current tragic events in Israel and Palestine. I would also like to express my gratitude and thanks to Professor Joe Goldblatt, who's the chair of the Edinburgh Interfaith Association, Armin Ahmed, the project manager, the Reverend John Conway, the provost, and his team at this majestic, glorious, beautiful cathedral for hosting us. And my also thanks to my friend and supporter of the Oxford Foundation, Aziz Rahman, who joins me from Oxford this evening. Before I share a few words on why I founded the United for Peace initiative, I would like to invite you all to join me in holding in our thoughts and prayers all our fellow human beings and their families who've lost their lives through terrorism, war and conflict across the world. Thank you. This initiative is inspired by several factors. First, I have always loved bringing people together. I get great joy when, after many weeks and months of work, we all come together. I believe that we are all one human family, and that the rich diversity of faiths, cultures, and ethnicities is our strength. It gives us cause for celebration. It is our shared values that are the force which holds us together, reminding us that there is far, far more that unites us than divides us. Second, this initiative draws on that strength of shared values by seeking to create shared spaces in which people of all faiths and none can come together for prayer, readings, silence, and personal reflection and beautiful music. I believe that when our rich tapestry of faiths or none and cultures come together, we create something beautiful. Some years ago, a gentleman came to see me, wanting to know why, as a Muslim and Imam, I founded this initiative. Might I have an ulterior motive? I think he was just thinking, is this some kind of conversion and proselytizing initiative? But I suggested to him that he should attend my next event, which was being held at the former Olympics venue, Dorney Lake. And I think, Mike, you were also there. Yeah, and thank you also for being with us this evening. So at the conclusion of that service, he came over to me and said, "Monoa, I get it. And I hope that by the conclusion of this unique service, you too will have experienced the beauty that we create when our communities come together. This richness of diversity is our strength. And when we all come together, we share something of our culture, something of our faith. We create beauty. And at the heart of all our faiths, at the heart of all the great world religions, it's about creating a beautiful human being and beauty all around us. And the third, with the emergence of social media and e-media platforms, extremist groups are able to amplify and proliferate divisive and hateful narratives as never before. There has been a worrying rise of race. There has been a worrying rise of race, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic hate crimes. In my work challenging such hateful narratives, I've noted that the extremist groups feed off the actions of each other. For example, the actions of Islamist extremist groups are used by extreme right-wing groups to malign the whole Islamic community. Conversely, extremist Islamic groups use the hateful actions of far-right groups to create fear and anxiety within the Muslim communities. The way we respond to such groups is, I believe, by creating shared spaces, as we've done this evening. We celebrate our rich diversity, we converse with each other, and through that process, build friendships, understanding, and mutual respect between all our communities. So I hope you enjoy this evening, but thank you for making it such a special and unique evening. And I'm looking forward to all the performers, and to all of them I say heartfelt thanks for sharing something beautiful from their traditions. And we've also included a non-faith perspective as well, because I think at the heart of all that we do, we should include everyone. And so I hope you're enriched by this evening, as I'm sure I will be. So thank you.
Ubuntu, I am because we are, a deeply theological statement. We are not created in isolation, but created to be humans becoming together. In the Christian tradition, and John referenced it, there's a teaching from Jesus that says this: "You've heard it said that you should love your neighbor and hate your enemy, but I say you should love your enemy." Well, I looked up the word hate in the original Greek and was, quite frankly, at first a bit underwhelmed, because the word literally translated means to think against. Hate, to think against. Sounded a bit banal, to be honest. But consider what that does, to think against. Well, that lives in your head, where it can grow undetected like a cancer. It moves through your spirit and your system. It slowly takes over. It's insidious and secretive. Inside your head, it can evolve. An echo chamber is as fertile as any petri dish. To think against each other, should never be underestimated. It is not banal, nor is it benign. Love, on the other hand, draws us towards each other, calls us to involve ourselves, entwine our lives like roots that share soil and sunlight, and create shelter for all who come our way. So whatever your tradition, belief, or faith, take a moment and sit in these words. And if you're feeling bold, hold hands with somebody near you. Feel their strength, their fragility, human to human being. Love that lives in us all. Reach out from us and connect with the sacred spirits of our siblings. Whoever we are, whatever faith or belief nurtures us, wherever we come from, we belong to each other. Let our hearts and minds and spirits think on that. May we think and act and dwell and persevere and rest in that.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, to have been invited here today at such an event that is so close to my heart is a real honor for me. Have you ever felt discriminated against because of your faith? Have you ever witnessed someone being attacked or harassed for their beliefs? Have you ever wondered what you can do to stop the hate that plagues this world? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you are not alone. This is not a violation of human rights, but also a threat to our security, stability, and harmony. That is why I believe interfaith dialogue and cooperation are essential for creating a more peaceful and inclusive society. The voices of hate and the politics of division are especially loud at this time. Hate speech and hate crimes have risen to enormous levels. Even from our politicians and community leaders, we are seeing such language that even a few years ago would not have been accepted by our society. When these dark forces are looking to push our communities apart for their own agendas, we must, every one of us, stand against this hate. Interfaith dialogue and cooperation can help to combat hate by increasing knowledge and awareness of different religions and cultures. By learning about others' beliefs, values and practices, and the histories of others, we can overcome the stereotypes, prejudices, and misconceptions that fuel hatred and fear. We can also discover the commonalities and the shared values that unite us as human beings, such as love, compassion, justice, and dignity. Interfaith dialogue and cooperation can help to combat hate by building trust and respect among different religious communities, by engaging in honest and respectful conversations. We can listen to each other's perspectives and express our own views. We can also acknowledge and appreciate the diversity and richness of our religious traditions and celebrate our unique contributions to society. Interfaith dialogue and cooperation can help to combat hate by fostering solidarity and action for social justice and peace. By working together on issues that affect us all, such as poverty, inequality, violence, discrimination, and environmental degradation, we can demonstrate our commitment to the common good and the well-being of all. We can also stand up against any form of hatred, intolerance, or extremism that threatens our human dignity and rights, and support each other in times of need. In my own journey since the murder of my brother by ISIS in 2014, I have seen the power of what interfaith communications can do. I have sat and talked with so many people of so many different cultures and faiths. I have learned so much from those interactions. Recently, I was transiting through Heathrow Airport. I had a Sikh disability assistance helper. I greeted him with the traditional Sikh greeting, and he looked at me, and a big smile spread across his face as he wheeled me in the wheelchair across the madness of Heathrow Airport. We talked, and for a short time, we bonded. And that was all down to interfaith communications. In conclusion, interfaith dialogues and cooperation are vital for the combating hate and creating a more peaceful and inclusive society. by increasing our knowledge and awareness, building our trust and respect, and fostering solidarity and action, we can overcome the barriers that divide us and bridge the gaps that separate us. We can also inspire others to join us in the noble and urgent cause. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. So let us choose to live together, not as enemies, but as friends. Let us choose love, not hate. Let us choose to talk and not fight. Thank you.
I'm Sue Bard, and I'm co-chair of Sukkot. Thank you. I'm Sue Bard, and I'm co-chair of Sukkot Shalom, which is Edinburgh's liberal Jewish community. I'm going to read a poem that's by a poet known as Zelda. She was born Zelda Schneerson-Mishkovsky, born in 1914 in Russia, and she immigrated with her family, who had several generations of Hasidic rabbis, to Palestine in 1926. She wrote visionary religious poetry in modern Hebrew, and she became a very popular poet. She died in 1984. This poem is called Each of Us Has a Name. In Hebrew, the title is L'chol Ish Yesh Shem. Each of us has a name. Each of us has a name given by God and given by our parents. Each of us has a name given by our stature and our smile, and given by what we wear. Each of us has a name given by the mountains and given by our walls. Each of us has a name given by the stars and given by our neighbors. Each of us has a name given by our sins and given by our longing. Each of us has a name given by our enemies and given by our love. Each of us has a name given by our celebrations and given by our work. Each of us has a name given by the seasons and given by our blindness. Each of us has a name given by the sea and given by our death. Thank you.
The song which I will sing is a song of peace, which is a line which is said in every Jewish service and in the Kaddish prayer, among others, and is a prayer for peace not only among the Jewish people, but among the whole of the world, and expresses a hope that just as God creates harmony in nature, so it is our job, with God's help, to create harmony among humanity. Aseh shalom bimromav, O yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, imru, amen. Aseh shalom bimromav, O yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, amen.
I think by now you know that I'm not Sheikh Hassan Rabbani. I think Sheikh isn't here, but I'm going to read this prayer that he very kindly sent. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. O Allah, our Lord, unite the hearts of Edinburgh and our great nation around the pillars of justice, peace, love and faith. Pour peace and love into our hearts for the vibrant diversity that makes Edinburgh and the UK so beautifully unique. O Lord, most strong, bestow upon us the might to stand beside and protect our neighbours, both near and far. We raise our hands in supplication for our city and the entirety of the United Kingdom, that it remains a bastion of love, compassion, and unity. Remove from our hearts any shade of prejudice, making us vessels of love for our brothers and sisters of all faiths and none. Awaken our hearts and minds to the rich heritage we hold and to fulfill our duties and responsibilities as citizens of our beloved nation. Allah, most merciful, grant us the compassion to extend our hands in kindness to the most vulnerable among us. Shield us from the harms of evil and inspire us to stand resolutely in defense of those at risk of harm. Lord, most generous, ignite within us the spirit of charity, enabling us to assist those who need it most. Bestow upon our leaders the vision and wisdom they require as they make choices that will shape the peace and harmony of our world. Allah, our sustainer, let us be stewards of our environment, preserving its wonders for the generations yet to come. Lord, most merciful, most generous, instill in us endless patience, that we may continue to learn from each other, forging a world marked by peace and kindness. As we gather here in the heart of Edinburgh, let the ideals of freedom, justice and brotherhood resonate true for every individual under the vast sky. May our hearts be ever expansive, treating others with the same kindness and generosity we seek for ourselves. Let us share our blessings with others for your divine sake. Strengthen us, shower your love upon us, and spread kindness amongst us all. Amen.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Thank God for this palladium, so you can see me. Just want to say I feel very honoured to be invited here tonight to perform for you all. I prepared 2 nasheeds praising the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and hopefully you might learn a little something about him and his life on this earth. मोहम्मद का रोज़ा करीब आ रहा है, बुलंदी पे अपना नसीब आ रहा है। मोहम्मद का रोज़ा करीब आ रहा है, बुलंदी पे अपना नसीब आ रहा है। फरिश्तों ये दे दो पैगाम उनको, खबर जाके दे दो उनको। फरिश्तों के खादिम तुम्हारा साईद आ रहा है, कि खादिम तुम्हारा साईद आ रहा है। मदीना 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 मदीना, बड़ा लुत्फ देता है नामे मदीना। वफा तुम न देखो कि हरगिज़ किसी में, ज़माना वो ऐसा करीब आ रहा है। हिफाजत करो अपने ही मानो दी की, ज़माना वो ऐसा अजीब आ रहा है। मोहम्मद का रोज़ा करीब आ रहा है, बुलंदी पे अपना नसीब आ रहा है। फरिश्तों ये दे दो पैगाम उनको, खबर जाके दे दो उनको। फरिश्तों के खादिम तुम्हारा साईद आ रहा है, कि खादिम तुम्हारा साईद आ रहा है। मदीना 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 मदीना, बड़ा लुत्फ देता है नामे मदीना। तुम्हें कुछ खबर है कहाँ जा रहा हूँ, रसूले खुदा है वहाँ जा रहा हूँ। तुम्हें कुछ खबर है मैं क्या पा रहा हूँ, मोहब्बत का उनकी मज़ा पा रहा हूँ। चलो जा के रहना मदीने में, अब तो क़यामत का मंज़र करीब आ रहा है। फरिश्तों ये दे दो पैगाम उनको, खबर जाके दे दो उनको। फरिश्तों के खादिम तुम्हारा साईद आ रहा है, कि खादिम तुम्हारा साईद आ रहा है। मदीना 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 मदीना, बड़ा लुत्फ देता है नामे मदीना। Jazakallah, thank you. So if you haven't guessed yet, that wasn't English. So that was in Urdu, and this next one's in predominantly English, but some Arabic as well, okay? I need to excuse my throat. I'm kind of recovering from a sore throat, but I'll get there. We once had a teacher, the teacher of teachers. He changed the world for the better and made us better creatures. Oh Allah, we shamed ourselves, we've strayed from Al-Mu'allim. Surely we wronged ourselves, what will we say in front of him? Ooh, Mu'allim. He was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Muhammad, mercy upon mankind. He was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Muhammad, mercy upon mankind. Teacher of all mankind, Abul Qasim, Ya Habibi, Ya Muhammad, يا شفيع يا محمد خير خلق الله محمد يا مصطفى يا إمام المرسلين يا مصطفى يا شفيع العالمين يا مصطفى يا إمام المرسلين يا مصطفى يا شفيع العالمين He prayed while others slept, while others ate, he'd fast. While they would laugh, he wept until he breathed his last. His only wish was for us to be among the ones who'd prosper. Ya Mu'allim, peace be upon you, truly you are our teacher. Ooh, Mu'allim. He was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Muhammad, mercy upon mankind. He was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Muhammad, mercy upon mankind, teacher of all mankind. Ya Bashiri, Ya Muhammad, Ya Nadhiri, Ya Muhammad, Ishku Kalbi, Ya Muhammad. He taught us to be just and kind and to feed the poor and hungry, help the wayfarer and the orphan child, and to not be cruel and miserly. His speech was soft and gentle, like a mother stroking her child. His mercy and compassion were most radiant when he smiled. He was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Muhammad, mercy upon mankind. He was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Muhammad, mercy upon mankind. Teacher of all mankind. Abul Qasim, Ya Habibi, Ya Muhammad, Ya Shafi, Ya Muhammad, Khairu Khalqillahi Muhammad, Ya Mustafa, Ya Imam al-Mursalina, Ya Mustafa, Ya Shafi al-Alamina, Ya Mustafa, Ya Imam al-Mursalina, Ya Mustafa, Ya Shafi al-Alamina, Ya Mu'allim. Thank you.
Good evening. What a wonderful sight. All living beings need peace, loving kindness, and compassion in order to thrive and fulfill our potential. But too often we encounter unkindness, bigotry, and even hatred, born of fear and ignorance. This is when we really need to dig deep and remain aware so that we don't retaliate in kind, but rather cultivate impartial compassion in our hearts. To quote my precious teacher, Akong Tulku Rinpoche, he said, "What compassion means is to accept ourselves and others without judgment, without preference. We start with ourselves, accepting ourselves so that we don't continue the negative self-judging of I'm bad, I don't know anything, I always make mistakes, etc., etc. One of the worst sufferings in the world is to punish ourselves in this way. And it's not even helpful. Once we accept ourselves, we can then extend this open attitude to people around us, to friends, to strangers, even to enemies. Imagine limitless kindness and compassion for the whole world, and not just for people, but for animals, insects, plants and trees, mountains, the earth, our home, the oceans, everyone and everything. It is the most important thing we can do, for when we are kind, we are following not one, but all faiths, and becoming worthy human beings. So it isn't really selfish to start with oneself. In fact, to quote another of my precious teachers, none other than His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the first teaching I ever received from him, some 30 years ago, was entitled, "Inner Peace Leads to World Peace." And I've reflected on that ever since. So to end this little contribution, I'd like you to do the same. I invite you to do the same. So let us unite in a minute of silence, beyond words, to discover and cultivate the inner peace of loving kindness and compassion that is our true nature. Thank you.
It's the ultimate aim in Buddhism, possibly unattainable, but to achieve enlightenment, nirvana, Buddhahood, because all of us can be Buddhas. It's been said that nirvana is not a place, but a state, a cooling of the emotions and the passions. It's outside suffering, outside pain, outside sorrow. And to some, this can seem a little bit selfish, as if I can reach a place where I'm all right, Jack, and everyone else is still suffering. But fortunately, in Buddhism, there is also the beings known as bodhisattvas, people who have been fortunate enough to achieve enlightenment and have the choice of becoming Buddhas. But because of their tremendous compassion and love for all beings, they choose to postpone their Buddhahood, to postpone nirvana, and to remain in this realm of suffering to help us in the extremely unlikely event that I ever attain enlightenment. And please don't hold your breath. I do hope that I have the courage and compassion to have that aim. The most revered bodhisattva in Buddhism is the bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of compassion. The mere chanting of the name Avalokiteshvara invites him or her or them to come down to our world of suffering and help us. The more we chant the name, the more they spread compassion throughout the world. There are many versions of the mantra Avalokiteshvara. The simplest one is simply the repetition of his name. And the one I'm going to chant tonight is the very simplest chant. The words are simply Namo Avalokiteshvaraya. And normally the chant is sung ad infinitum until it fades away into distance. I won't go on too long. Namo Avalokiteshvaraya. Namo Avalokiteshvaraya. Namo Avalokiteshvaraya. Namo Avalokiteshvaraya. Namo Avalokiteshvaraya. Namo Avalokiteshvaraya. Namo Kitech faraya. Namo avlu. 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 Kitech faraya.
Good evening, distinguished guests. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Jasdeep and Manraj are grateful for the opportunity to perform in front of you. We are grateful for the opportunity. I'll take a moment to introduce what they are doing today while they are setting up. Peace is a universal aspiration that resonates deeply within the Sikh faith. Peace is not merely the absence of conflict, it's a state of harmony, understanding, and compassion that permeates every aspect of our lives. It is a way of being, a commitment to live in accordance with the divine principles of truth, righteousness, and justice. Sikh faith is rooted in the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji articulated his vision through the concept of Ik Oankar, the oneness of all creation, emphasizing the interconnectedness of humanity and the inherent divinity within every being. Some of the Sikh concepts that promote peace include Simran and Kirtan. Simran is the constant remembrance of the divine, which cultivates inner peace and tranquility. Guru Granth Sahib, which is the Sikh scripture, says, Ghar sukh vasya, bahar sukh paya, which means I dwell in peace at my home, and home is the home within. If I'm peace within, then I'm at peace outside. That's Simran. Kirtan is the devotional singing of hymns, which fosters a sense of unity and spiritual upliftment. Today, Jasdeep and Manraj are doing the Simran and Kirtan. Thank you.
everyone. Wonderful to see you all here. I hope you can hear me. I'm Jayanti Santanam and my daughter Anjali Khan. We both are dancers at Cosmic Dance School from Edinburgh. And we would like to offer our prayers this evening in the form of a Hindu prayer to Lord Shiva, who is the very embodiment of compassion and positivity, and who taught us by his example to treat every being, whether human or otherwise, equally, just like I would treat myself. And I hope today the dance will reach him, because he is the Lord Nataraja, the King of Dance, and he gave us this dance. I'm hoping our prayers reach him and he brings us some positivity and compassion in our own hearts so we can follow that, and he'll guide us. Thank you.
சிவாய போற்றியே நமச்சிவாய போற்றியே பிறப்பருக்கும் ஏகனே பொறுத்தருள் அநேகனே பரம்பொருள் உன் நாமத்தை கரங்குவித்து பாடினோம் இறப்பிலி உன் கால்களை சிறங்குவித்து தேடினோம் குளிர்மலை தன் வாசனே எழுமிகு எம் நேசனே அழித்தொழிக்கும் ஈசனே இல்லாமல் ஆடும் பந்தமே கல்லாகி நிற்கும் முந்தமே கல்லாயங்கட்கு சொந்தமே எல்லா உயிர்க்கும் அந்தமே
Good evening. Good evening. I am Matt Cormack. I am the acting presiding officer of the Scottish Pagan Federation. And tonight I'm going to be reading you a brief pagan prayer for peace. We call to earth that nurtures and holds us all. May earth help peace to grow. We call to air that sustains us all. May air facilitate communication that brings peace. We call to fire that warms us all. May fire provide light to find the path of peace. We call to water that nourishes and cleanses us all. May water help peace to flow. We call to the spirits, our ancestors, and the divine. May you support us as we call for peace. To all of earth and of ether, may you find peace. Blessed be.
Salam, Shalom, Muir, Mir. We all know Salam and Shalom mean peace. It's the most beautiful way to greet people. And Mir in Russian means peace. Muir in Ukrainian means peace. Such a tiny difference in pronunciation. What a tragic difference for humanity. We don't seem to have learned very much since the end of the war to end all wars, the one we were commemorating yesterday and are remembering today, but the truth is the struggle between the desire for vengeance and the desire for justice is much, much older. Almost 3,000 years ago, Aeschylus wrote a play about how to transform a society rooted in vengeance into one shaped by justice. Now, it's called the Oresteia. It starts after the Trojan War, where Agamemnon comes back in victory, only to be murdered by his wife because, of course, he has sacrificed their daughter to placate the gods on the eve of the war. And then, to avenge his father, Agamemnon's son kills his mother before fleeing to Athens, pursued by the Furies, where the goddess of wisdom convenes a trial, but there's a hung jury. So Aeschylus asks, what is Athena to do? Now, Agamemnon and Clytemnestra and Orestes all had their reason for what they did, but reason is not enough. As the great Catholic author G.K. Chesterton wrote, the madman is not the man who has lost his reason. The madman is the man who has lost everything except his reason. Now, vengeance is a reason, but it is the opposite of peace and justice. And we know that the Israelis have their reasons, the Palestinians have their reasons, the Russians have their reasons, the Ukrainians have their reasons. But reason is not what we need right now. What we need now, as we have heard so often this evening, is compassion. Compassion is far more important than reason, and never more so than now. But to go back to the Oresteia, what did Athena do? Well, she forgave Orestes. Aeschylus recognized that a civilization depends upon our ability to overcome our desire for revenge and to learn to forgive. Now, there is a saying which we all know, to err is human, to forgive divine, but I disagree. Forgiveness is a profoundly human quality. It takes great courage, and it is only by recognizing our common humanity that we can break the endless cycle of violence. And I'm sure you will remember, because it's just a few weeks ago, that when the 85-year-old Israeli peace activist Yocheved Lifshitz was released from the captivity of Hamas, she gripped the hand of one of her hooded captors and she said, "Shalom." That display of forgiveness was a display of all that is best in the human spirit. It took great courage. And it gives me hope because, not least, it was an expression of a belief that is fundamental to humanism. It's a belief I've heard expressed several times this evening, which is that there is more that unites than divides us. And the greatest thing that unites us is love. So, Muir, Mir, Salam, Shalom. Peace be upon you, and let us work together for peace. United.
I don't think I need the box either. I think I'm okay. How do you follow that? It's left with me to have the honour of making the concluding remarks this evening. To those who do not know me, I'm Ian Stewart. I'm the Executive Director of the Edinburgh Interfaith Association and one of the principal organisers of tonight's service, alongside my good friend Imam Monowar of the Oxford Foundation. Thank you for your kind remarks earlier. You helped to bring this to Scotland, and I think Scotland has done us proud this evening with this service. And I also want to thank my colleague Amina Ahmed, Programme Manager, and Professor Chair, Joe Goldblatt, our Chair, who's helped me to put this service together. I'm sure you will agree with me that tonight has been a hugely enjoyable, moving, and inspiring service. And I know that Joe will do the thank yous, but could we take just a brief moment to show our appreciation for everyone who's taken part tonight? Now, tonight's peace service has been a unique service. Often peace services can understandably be sombre affairs. After all, we come to pray, to meditate and call for peace. And we also take a moment to remember all those innocent people who have lost their lives in conflicts around the world, and to remember those who continue to live in fear for their lives. However, it's too easy to get lost in a pit of despair and feel that there is no hope. And my wish is that when you leave tonight, you leave with just a small chink of hope, that there is a glimpse of light, that you can see how different faiths and belief communities and diverse cultures can happily coexist alongside one another and appreciate the richness of one another. We've come together and had a small window into some of the rich, diverse faiths and cultures that make not only our capital city, but also our world so special and so unique. The beauty of our world truly lies in the diversity of its people and its cultures. And at Edinburgh Interfaith, we bring speakers from different religions and beliefs and cultures into schools from an early age, from primary school age, to try and convey an appreciation for diversity. And I'm reminded of the words of Maya Angelou that it's time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity there is beauty and there is strength. And as Richard Twist said, you can't have unity without diversity. However, it will only be when people across the world, including our politicians, learn to stop othering and start to recognize the value of other peoples and cultures. Only then can we have that lasting peace which we all yearn for. All of our great religious traditions, and indeed our humanist traditions, as we've heard tonight, they recognize the value of each and every human life. And our leaders can learn from those teachings. Tonight we are united for peace, but I also feel very passionately that we must go further than seeking peace. Peace is an end to war, for unless we truly learn to love and appreciate and accept one another, peace will only ever be temporary. In 2016, my dear friend, the late French consulate in Edinburgh, Emmanuel Kocher, asked me and Edinburgh Interfaith to organise a peace service after the Paris terrorist attacks, as he feared the rise in Islamophobic hate crime. Bringing people together to promote peace, he hoped, could help to counter that rise. And as I stand here amidst great rises in Islamophobia and anti-Semitism that the UK has witnessed, it's essential that tonight we reiterate our commitment to resolutely stand against divisive narratives which seek to divide us, to work together alongside others who share our values in order to foster mutual respect and understanding, and to encourage and support an enduring peace in Edinburgh, in Scotland, and throughout the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian. And thank you, friends, for joining us this evening on what is truly a historic occasion in the soon-to-be 900-year life of our city that we shall all celebrate together next year. I don't know about you, but I'm quite moved this evening, quite emotional, because I've always heard of Scotland referred to as a tartan army, a tartan nation. But tonight, I believe we've witnessed a tartan universe. And I wish to thank those who helped create this universe, Imam Manawar and the Oxford Foundation, and all those who contributed to this service of unity, including the provost of this great cathedral, who is also, may I add, a great audio engineer. Thank you, John Conway. I wish to thank our religious leaders and our local and civic leaders who have joined us tonight from the Edinburgh City Council and from our central government. We have representing the Scottish Government, the Cabinet Secretary for Constitution, Culture and External Affairs. Thank you for being here, Cabinet Secretary. All of you, our performers, our volunteers, our staff, and so many more have worked so hard to create this beautiful experience designed to promote peace within our city, our country, and our world. And I wish to especially thank all of you for coming tonight, because by coming tonight, you have said you're going to stand up, you're going to speak up, and you're going to speak out for peace in our city. And as I stand before you in this magnificent worship space, I'm reminded, John, of actually another special cathedral. One day in 1671, the architect Christopher Wren observed 3 bricklayers on a scaffold in front of London's St. Paul's Cathedral. You see, they were rebuilding it following the major fire. One bricklayer on the scaffolding was crouched, one was half standing, but one was standing tall, working very hard and very fast. And Christopher Wren, the famous architect, asked the first bricklayer, "What are you doing?" To which the bricklayer replied, "I'm a bricklayer. I'm working hard, laying bricks to feed my family." The second bricklayer responded, "I'm a builder. I am building this wall." But the third bricklayer, the most productive and enthusiastic of the 3, and by the way, the future leader of that group, when he was asked the question, he replied proudly, "What am I doing? I am building a cathedral, a house of love, a house of compassion, a house of peace." And so tonight, those who will think against us will not defeat us. For 35 years, the Edinburgh Interfaith Association has been building houses of love, compassion, and peace. And now, I'm asking for your help for us to be even more successful. Our plan is to create a permanent house of peace space in this city, and we welcome your future support. Please let me know later this evening how you might be able to help us to find a permanent home for all. In the past few days, I have been greatly gratified by the number of people and organizations who have provided financial support, both large and small, for IFA. We certainly welcome this continued support, as one day, when someone is standing before our House of Peace and asks a future chair of IFA, "What have they done here?" I hope with all my heart that the answer shall be that he or she or they will explain that working with others we created in our inspiring city of Edinburgh a permanent safe space for meditation, for contemplation, for dialogue, for education, for compassion, for love, and yes, for peace. Let us be the generation that sharpened our tools, as the scriptures tell us, and we beat our swords into plowshares to start building our house of peace together this evening, now. Through the ages, others have come before us with similar aspirations. In the 1940s, in the United States of America, a group of African Americans who were discriminated against created their own union. And with that union, they created a poem. And I'm going to need your help to recite the closing lines as we conclude our service. But I would like to invite the Lord Provost and all of the speakers on both front rows to come join me. Would you please come stand beside me on the pulpit? The words to this poem are very simple, and you may have heard them before, sung by singers like Pete Seeger or Joan Baez. As we say in Scotland, I'm nae singer. So I will simply chant the words and ask you to repeat them after me. We shall overcome.
We shall overcome.
We shall overcome.
We shall overcome.
Someday.
Someday.
Now, if you feel comfortable, take the hand of the person next to you and hold it in yours. We'll walk hand in hand.
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 Someday.
Someday.
Now, if you feel comfortable and you're able, would you be upstanding, please? And join us. We shall live in peace.
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 Someday.
Someday.
We shall all be free.
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 Someday.
Someday.
We are not afraid.
We are not afraid.
We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Today. Now put your hands in the air, holding hands, everyone. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Now, if you'll remain standing, thank you, just remain there, please. If you'll remain standing, I would like to invite my colleague Amina, who will lead us in the concluding pledge of peace.
If you could all repeat after me. We have come together today.
We have come together today
as citizens of Edinburgh and the United Kingdom.
as citizens of Edinburgh and the United Kingdom.
We pledge to stand united.
We pledge to stand united
against those who propagate hate and violence towards others.
against those who propagate hate and violence towards others.
We pledge to stand united against all forms of violent extremism.
We pledge to stand united
We pledge to live by the values that are inherent within our traditions.
We pledge to live by the values that are inherent within our traditions.
Values of compassion for the needy,
Values of compassion for the needy,
love for the neighbor,
love for the neighbor,
and respect for one another.
and respect for one another.
We pledge to do all we can
We pledge to do all we can
to promote understanding,
to promote understanding,
respect,
respect,
and mutual love for all.
and mutual love for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may wonder how these things began. In August, two men, with hearts bigger than this cathedral, met randomly at a dinner. And a couple of months later, we're all here. I call that spiritual serendipity. I hope tonight, as we invite you to join us for coffee, teas at the rear of the cathedral, you will practice some spiritual serendipity as we come together for a permanent peace in our city. Thank you, God bless you all, and safe travels home.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you very much.
No, I don't think the whole thing was great.